So how many kids would I need to have in order to be able to afford a retirement cruise? How much does it cost? I want to go to Tahiti. So should I need to have one, but one good kid and pressure him into stardom? Or like have five mediocre ones where I could take like 10% out of? I don't know. What y'all think?
That's good.
Ladies, we need to realize that we live in a society where we will be labeled as feminists just for the simple fact that we are female and vaguely look like that we are challenging the status quo. If you are a bigger woman and want to show a little skin, then you must be a feminist. If you are a woman and do not shave your armpits, legs, and have bushy eyebrows, then you must be a feminist. If you love to drink beer while watching a soccer game and that you actually know what an offside is, then you must be a feminist. And if you recognize a little bit of yourself in every single one of my examples, then congratulations, society just labeled you as feminist and gay. It is important to understand that sometimes a woman do not have time to retrieve her waxing beauty treatment voucher because she works 3 jobs and she wants to sleep. Plus winter is just around the corner. We will need all the fur we can. It is important to understand that a woman wants her right to have a full English breakfast with 3 slices of toast with both butter and jam, a croissant, a banana smoothie to flush it all down, and still have the right to wear her favorite crop top. It is important to understand that sometimes a woman like to watch a football game to reminisce about the time where she was, captain of a football squad in high school, while downing a pint of beer and burping and yelling with the crowd when favorite team scores. Do you understand, society? So can we do all of the above without being labeled as feminists? This is exactly why, ladies and gentlemen, I love Buchi Emecheta. Florence Buchi Emecheta was because she passed away at the beginning of this year, January 2017, and she wrote her first novel called Second Class Citizen, dealing with a Nigerian single mom of 5 pursuing happiness in London. Society tells her, okay, so we read the book, so you're a feminist, Buchi. And she said no, she's working towards the liberation of the woman, but that doesn't make her a feminist. But then she wrote novels like The Bride Price, The Rape of Shavi, Keinde, Gwendoline, The Slave Girl. So society was dying to slap the feminist label on her forehead. So she said, all right, society, all right, just call me an unintended feminist. A feminist, but with the small f. I agree, Buchi. Society needs to set us free, label free. So as you may or may not have guessed, today I am to talk about a book written by Buchi Emecheta titled The Joys of Motherhood. So what is that book about, you may ask? So we are in Nigeria around the 1930s. Nwego is a gorgeous woman who has a really rich and respected father in her village. She's aspiring to be the perfect daughter for her father that she adores dearly. It means being quiet and graceful, being able to attract really nice potential husband, pop out a lot of children, and the more baby boys you have, the more valuable you become as a woman. She succeeds perfectly in doing all of this until one day when she gets married and realizes that actually she has trouble conceiving children. Her value as a woman crumbled down at that point, and her father is completely embarrassed. Her husband has treated her like garbage and takes on a second wife who is super fertile. Nwego is having a total breakdown and she does something a little bit cringe-worthy, let's say. The whole village thinks that she's becoming nuts. She's going back to her father's house, depressed, completely broken down. New Ego's hands finally given to an older, ugly black man living far away in the capital, Lagos. Her new husband is taking pride in working for the white man as an underpants washer. So now, New Ego's aspiration to become a respected woman is summarized by an obedient daughter to a father she barely sees anymore, loving spouse to a husband she's disgusted by, nurturing mother to children she seems not to be able to have. To put it all in a nutshell, New Ego is a beautiful loser. Or rather, she thinks she is. 3 things I dig about the Joys of Motherhood. Number 1, the story starts with a disheveled woman running all across the street. What's going on? I was intrigued. Is she going mad? And when you trying to put the pieces together, boom, big flashback into the heroine's parents' life. Basically how they met, the circumstances, and their relationship. Throughout the whole story, I was upset at New Ego's strive to become the woman that society wants her to be. And I was even more upset knowing that her own mom was a badass. Well, forced to be a badass. New Ego's mom, lovely young lady whose dad has decided to treat her like a son. He forbids her to get married, which is good in a way because now she can build her own aspiration beyond finding a man. But bad as she falls deeply in love with the most handsome and agile hunter of the village, who already had dozens of wives already. The hunter become obsessed by her as well. So now she's wondering, does he likes me because, he actually likes me, or does he court me just because, I'm inaccessible, the thrill of having something that you can't have. That push and pull love story, the jealousy of the hunter's wife, a society that is against a woman being raised like a man, was a delightful surprise. We start the story with a woman running away, followed by a kicker flashback. Bravo. Second thing I dig about the Joys of Motherhood, colonization. You can find plenty of definition of what is colonization on Google. How I see it, colonization is what slavery would look like if it had a twin, but more polished and mundane. Now slavery, colonization, same tree, different branch. And in Joys of Motherhood, there is history being hinted at. Nigeria was an English colony, so when England suffers economic crisis because of war, for instance, then Nigeria suffers as well. The old Nigerian man getting paid to wash white folks' panties becomes unemployed when the same white folks have to go back to the mainland to fight, unless the old Nigerian man wants to go and work for them on a ship where he gets to save money and bring it back to his family in Nigeria that he gets to see once or twice a year. Or the old Nigerian man can go to war with them. He might die, but at least they'll send money back to his family while he's alive. In the book, you see how colonization trickles all the way down to her characters. The mornings when the women wake up and go to a Lagos market to trade and buy, and they see that the price go up and up, they're helpless because they can't do nothing about it, and they are angry because they cannot feed their family. So when their children comes back home, the one that goes to school tell them that the teacher says it's because of Hitler, they wonder, what does it have to do with them? Like, who is Hitler? Like, what does Hitler has to do with them being able to buy groundnuts and ukwa bean cake? When elephant fights, it is the grass that suffers most. Third thing I dig about the Joys of Motherhood. This one is a little bit more personal, guys. I don't know if it's just my parents or if it's a trait that is proper to all parents that grow up in Africa. But since I had my first base job, I have a feeling that my parents see me as their retirement plan. Oh, don't get me wrong, I rebelled about the idea that I had to give a percentage of all my incomes to my parents early, thanks to my friend Jen that told me that it is not I that have decided to be born, so that I am not in debt for a life I haven't asked for in the first place. But this book made me reconsider. When I see the hardship And hardship is the best word to describe what parents go through in this book. Goodness me, this made me change my mind. Listen, I am going to charge my kids. Some will have sweet 16s. I'm going to hit mine with the PPP, Payment Plan Package. Oh yes, thank you, Buchi Emecheta, for opening my eyes. Okay guys, that's all for me today. If you liked the video, please give it a thumb up. I put a link on the description below where you can buy the Joys of Motherhood. And as soon as you read it, please put a comment on the comment section, as I would love to read it. If you want to know which book I'm going to do next, make sure to like my Facebook page and follow me on Twitter. That's all. I shall catch you later. À bientôt.